Welcome to Puvanur RVIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. Welcome to Puvanur RVIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. In level 5, we have seen some special topics of special placements, RTP concepts over the last several classes. Today I'm going to cover a concept called Gumki, the transformation of your playing style. Before I get into the class, I will start this class with the Thirukkural. நன்று ஆற்றல் உள்ளும் தவறு உண்டு அவர் பண்பறிந்து ஆற்றா கடை. What is the meaning of it? ஒருவருக்கு நன்மை செய்யும் போதும் அவரவர் இயல்பறிந்து பொருத்தமாக செய்ய வேண்டும். இயல்பு அறியாமல் செய்தால் குற்றம் உண்டாகும். So if you want to help somebody, help based on his capacity. Don't do it in a different way, in a radical way. Do it with an equanimity approach. Whatever is deserved for that person, for the occasion, you have to do that sort of an help, rather than untowards help is not warranted. That's what is the crux of this Thirukkural. With this good thought, I'm entering into the class with the concept of Gumki, the Prayogam of Gumki. We will have an introductory session today, and we will have series of lectures around it, how to use it practically in the phrases, so that you will tend to know the usage of it in its entirety. Today you're going to learn the special concept called Gumki. Gumki is nothing but an extension of an oscillated sound of dum. So when you play dum, this is a plain dum, but when you actually have to play this Gumki, you have to hit this frame. I'll show you. You have to hit here. You have to push your hand down so that you get that air out of the instrument, and that sound dum with the air escape, you get that vibration sound, which is called Gumki. That's how you have to practice first. Actually, some people get hurt by doing that because the skin is not properly seasoned. You get hurt. You ask your repairer to actually use sandpaper so that this is soft here, so it doesn't harm your hand in a much greater way. Otherwise, if it's sharp, then it will cut your hand. So you have to be very careful. Ask him to use the sandpaper or something to season it around, so that you don't get hurt. That sound you keep practicing for some time, and then you will get that sound. First of all, it's to do a comparison before even I get into the class. It's called a Mridangam slang. Everybody learn, study in school, and everybody learns English, everybody talks English, but somebody talks beautifully with an accent, which is a beautiful accent. It comes by practice. It's not that everybody talks the same way, but there are few people who actually, if the teacher trains them and they religiously follow, everybody can get closer to that accent. So it's important to first of all understand the right technique to play Gumki. You don't have to play sideways. Actually, you can go direct, and that's the right approach. You have to use these two fingers primarily That you keep trying for some time. Again, don't be enthusiastic to do 100 times, 200 times, 300 times, and then get hurt, and next 1 week you may not be able to play at all. So do it systemically, do few times, and try to do this Gumki as you have learned the lessons, because that's the application of Gumki is more important rather than playing that alone. That alone, playing that, only your hand will hurt. But if you start converting that into usage of your takadina, you can use both as gumikis or the second dum as a gumiki. For example, is the plain sound. Ki dum dum ki, ta dum dum ki. You have to use that gumiki and see and how you are getting the effect of conversion of dum into a gumiki. That's important. Then gugunana kittataka takatari kittataka. Dum dum nam nam taki taki takatari kittataka. Both the dums you convert into gumiki. The first one you can play straight. The second one you give the effect of it. You can use that. Tom kita takatari kita taka. Wherever you have dum kita kita takatari kita taka, tom kita takatari kita taka, all these you try with gumiki. Tom is only this dum and nam. Kita you play as dumki. All these things you have to try in the beginning, because the lessons may not have a scope to play the gumiki, but wherever possible you can try to play that. Gugunana kittataka, gugunana kittataka, gugunana kittataka, takatari kittataka. All those base lessons you can try. Kittadundum kittataka takatari is a good candidate for gumiki. All these you can try. So now I am going to actually teach you the sequences, whatever you learned. I want you to transform that into a gumiki lessons. If you want to transform this lesson into gumiki, it becomes like this. dhimi tadhi, you can use namdum thaki instead of namdum dhimki, you can use. When you play slowly and get the fullness of Gumki, then you will realize how difficult it is. When you play fast, you should get the same effect. When you play fast, you will not get the roundedness. To get the roundedness, you should play slowly, and then only then you get the roundedness. That's a full conversion of the sequence. Now, the reason why I played and showed you this is the effect when you actually play normally. You listen to level 1 lessons, what I taught you. Now you listen to this lesson. There'll be a big difference because you get the slang out of it. You're trying to same thing you're talking in a different language because it's like a cursive writing. You're getting more familiar. You've become a more advanced student. When you're writing a letter, somebody you'll use beautifully your sentences and then write it to others. So when the other it becomes very professional. Your write up becomes very professional. Similarly, a learning conversion of a basic learning into a formatted learning. I think that's important. That's a style format. That's why now even in if you look at the Microsoft Office, the products, they will have so many features and parameters and attributes in a word because you can just type a particular document, but there are many ways you can format it. There are many ways you can use the styles. There are different colors, different fonts, to make it more beautiful. Similarly, in art also, depending on the slang you give, you get the credits for that. There are people using just the kumikis, they get the name. There are people who use the chappers and nums, the way they show the strengths there. And you can form your own unique style by the combination of these, by your practices and by your own strengths of a natural gift of whether you have a shorter finger or a longer finger, be it however you're blessed with. So Gumki is such a beautiful, uh, effective life syllable. You need to use that very, very frequently, especially as you play for the song. Do not play flat. You always have to use Gumki, especially when you're accompanying. That gives a lot of melody into it. So today's exercise is more of orientation because you learned what are all the takeaways. You're now from the dome. You're now trying to get this. The way you have to play is with these two fingers and just straight hand move forward. The concept is the air escapes through the two in between the peripherals of the inner skin and the outer skin, the two layers. In between the air comes. The more the air comes in a proportionate way, the sound effect is brilliant. So in tabla, if you look at it, they have a bigger bass. So when they try to do it, they get an elongated sound because they travel. The travel in the instrument is the longer. So the more, the bigger the bass, and if your hand can travel far, you get a deeper sound. You need to practice those sound, and then also then get the effect out of it by as you go along and get familiarized with the stroke. So importantly, before you even play this tham, tadhim sequence in its continuity, as I told you, you should go with whatever the possibility of the phrases you learned as part of Balapadam, where kita dandum kita taka, tari dandum kita taka, dum kita taka, takadina, takadina tam, takadina, takatalanga, takadipitalanga. When you play with dum, talangudum, talang. Takadina tom, takadina tom, takadina. These are all you're actually converting. So we need to try and experiment all this. Then come to the sequence, tadhim tadhit sequence. Using this tadim, try to navigate in your own way as a possibility and try to get the usage more frequently. And once when you get that derive out of sound, you will get the enjoyment because you sink into the actual music. So it's something like for a raga, for Shankarabharanam there is a specific scale they actually oscillate. And similarly for any of the ragas they use in a specific way, you get the right perfect thing. So similarly in Mridangam as well, like tadhindina, tadhindina, tadhindina. Within the time frame, your rotation and rolling, everything should fall in place. So that's important. So it's a beginning class. With these introductions, I want you to try all these basics. The next class, I will focus on tadhindina, how to go about it. First of all, I'll teach the vanilla part of it. And then what I will do is I'll play segments of all the families. I want you to practice all the family with the Gumki, separately and together. So it's a study group. So then when you do all this systemically, you will see the difference of your own play. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to convert all the lessons, and the workshops are going to be whatever the learnings, whatever we have done so far, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. And the core wise, wherever it's possible, wherever it's going to sound nice, we are going to convert that into Gumiki lessons. So we're going to have an enjoyable journey, and I want all my students to go through this for 6 months to a year of Gumiki practices of whatever the lessons. And then if you go out, I'm assuring you, if you've got it right, you will be noted as the best accompaniment artist, because this is the key. A lot of people don't even learn this properly. They go onto the stage and they just show samples. It is not sample. The entirety should be Gumiki. And that's the magnetic effect you will create. Zakir Hussain, Allah Raka, if you look at so many great artists, if you look at it, they only use these tekas with Gumikis. So we need to practice that as the Carnatic musicians. We need to also showcase that we are no less than the North, like we can also use this left side much better way. Because in tabla, the design itself is half. They use this the left frame for, it's specifically, carved out for them. Here it's integrated, and they may, people think there may not be much scope, but there is scope. We can actually do a lot of wonders, even Mridangam, as Mridangam is deemed as king of percussion instrument. With this good thought, I will end this class. I'll see you in the next class with Taddin Dinna Gumiki conversion lessons. I'll conclude this class with the Thirukkural. எள்ளாத எண்ணிச் செயல் வேண்டும் தம்மோடு கொள்ளாத கொள்ளாது உலகு. What is the meaning of it? அரசர் தன் நிலைமையோடு பொருந்தாத உபாயங்களை செய்வாராயின். தன் நிலைமையோடு பொருந்தாத உபாயங்களை செய்வாராயின். Whatever is not matching to his style, and if he tries to do something out of his way, உயர்ந்தோர் அவரை இகழ்வர். The wisdom people will actually find fault with him. They will also abuse him. ஆதலால் உயர்ந்தோர் இகழாத வகையில் நல்லவற்றையே ஆராய்ந்து செய்தல் வேண்டும். So you have to act as per the wish of the wise people and wisdom people, and if you continue to do that, it will be good for you and as well as the people around you. With this good thought, I'm concluding this class. Over the next few classes, we will actually see the usage of Gumki in varied sequences, and once when you get to know how to play that, and you will find a seeming difference of your playing style.